all, welcome to the Inspire Spark podcast, where we dive deep into the lives of extraordinary individuals who are making a difference and inspiring others through their unique stories. I'm your host, Siren, and I'm very happy to have Jeannie joining us today. Hi, Jeannie. Thank you for being here today. I'm excited to explore your journey and learn from your experiences. And it's great that we are exchanging roles this time around, where I'm interviewing you instead this time. Okay, so to kick things off, I'd love to hear, to know what inspired you to start your podcast and share these incredible stories, Jeannie.
Hey, thank you, Siren, and I'm very, very honored to be your guest today. That we are exchanging roles, and I love that you want to share my story as well. So I think the reason why I started my podcast is I really love good stories. I actually grew up watching the Oprah show, not too sure if you're familiar with that. And I love how the host, Oprah Winfrey, and she was very good at, talking to her guests, asking questions, and she was very down to earth. So at that time, when I was much younger, my dream was to be a newscaster or a talk show host like her. But somehow, sometimes being a host or a newscaster doesn't seem like a very practical dream. So I just really felt that it was just for the very pretty and privileged. But then thereafter, as when I grew up, I met a lot of wonderful people, mentors, peers, people like you, Siren. And I was really inspired by your story and the stories of the people that I meet. And so one example was I actually shared in the previous podcast with another of our iconic speaker friend about a medical doctor who I met when I was studying in Japan. He's 94 years old now. I actually met him recently again. I first met him when he was 70 years old. He was always full of vigor, full of, so much energy for life, even though he was 70-year-old at that time. Wow. He wanted to learn English from me. He wanted me to teach him English. And I realized that rather than me actually teaching him, I'm actually learning so much more than him. He shared about his life when he was during the World War II, how he had no choice. He had to stop school, had to go to a factory repairing and making planes for war. But then where he learned to become very agile with his fingers. And that helped him to become a very, very, very good surgeon. So he was a very famous surgeon in Japan. Wow. So yeah, it's actually stories like this where I felt that I believe there is a story in every one of us, and some may resonate and be inspired by such a story. So that's why I named my podcast Winspiration. So inspiration with a W. The copy would be winning through inspiration, winning in a particular part of your life through inspirations like this. So I just feel that sometimes we need that spark of inspiration to start something, and I hope this podcast will be able to give that first hint or that first clue to someone.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear, Jeannie. It's Thanks. Amazing how influential figures like Oprah Winfrey can inspire us to pursue our dreams. Yeah. And your aspiration to become a talk show host or newscaster is admirable. I'm glad you found inspiration in the people that you have met along the way. And it's true, I certainly believe that everyone has a story worth sharing. And I love your podcast name, Winspiration. Perfectly encapsulates the idea of winning through inspiration. And that spark of inspiration can truly ignite someone to take that first step. So thank you for sharing your journey with us. Okay, as we continue, I'm curious to know about the valuable lessons that you have gained from hosting your podcast and hearing these remarkable stories. What have you learned along the way?
So one first thing that I think that I've learned is that, like what I mentioned just now, I think everyone really do have a story to share. Maybe for you, it's just a simple thing in your life, but it's actually a story that everyone can learn from. Someone may be, because I believe that someone may be facing the same adversity, can listen to that and be inspired to take a leap of faith, to bounce back in life and to live life 100%. One example is one of my first guests, Rash. He was 17 or 18 years old when he had stroke. It's something that at that age you would never, even for me, I would never ever thought of that. Yeah. But then again, there are things like this, and And when I asked my sister, she is a medical doctor, she said, yeah, it does happen to younger people. But then these are the stories whereby sometimes we need more examples of people who have done it, been there, done it, to inspire us. So I think that itself is a true value. And I just see myself as a conduit or a connector. Growing up, I feel that I'm so privileged to meet people like this, and just to connect and share more to the world.
Great.
Yeah.
It's incredible how storytelling can bridge gaps and create connections. I completely agree with you, Jeannie. Everyone really have a story to share and have the power to inspire and motivate others to give life to the fullest. So I'm definitely sure your podcast is making a difference by providing such a platform for stories to be heard.
Hopefully, with support of support from people like you as well.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, for those who are eager to venture into the world of podcasting, right? I believe your insights will be valuable. What advice do you have for anyone who is keen to start their own podcast?
So the simple advice is just do it. So I'm not perfect. I've not had any vocal trainings before. I didn't even know how to actually start a Spotify account. Like, I didn't even know that for podcasts, there are so many channels on how to publish a podcast. So the thing is that just do it. And, if you just Google online how to start a podcast, you have so many results. Just choose one. Just choose one and stick to that and just do it. So that's it. And initially, when I listened to my own voice, I would cringe, like, oh my God, I sound so bad. I don't even want to listen to myself. But then again, I realized that that's not the thing. The thing or the essence is that what story am I going to share? That is more important. I'm not the star. The star is my guest. The star is my guest, and the biggest star is my audience. So just do it. I think that's the essence in starting.
Thank you. I love your advice. Just taking that first step is often the most challenging part of any undertakings, right? Overcoming self-doubt and fear is crucial. And realizing that it's not about us, but about the guest, as well as the audience, is a great mindset to have. So thank you for encouraging our aspiring podcasters to follow their dreams and make a difference through their own storytelling. Okay, life is full of challenges and setbacks.
Yes.
Can often seem inevitable. I wonder if you have faced any obstacles along your path and how did you overcome them? I would love to hear about your journey and the resilience you have displayed.
Okay, so this is an interesting question. So I think I think one of the most recent challenge that all of us has faced, at least for the past 2 or 3 years, is the pandemic. All of a sudden everything came to a stop, like literally came to a stop. All of us got ushered into our own house, which is supposed to be our most comfortable place. But being in the house all the time with our family, with our people, that was really a big change in many people's life, including myself. I'm not too sure if it's called a challenge, but for me, it had at certain time during the lockdown, it had been quite challenging. Because both my husband and I, we are working, so we had to be at home, and we have 3 children actually. So all 5 of us are cooped in the house.
Yeah.
And it's really nerve-wracking because we need to work, we need to manage their homework, we need to be the homemaker, we need to be the teacher, we need to be the employee at work, we need to be the boss at work, we need to do everything all at once. It's like the Michelle's Yeoh movie, everything all at once. But it was very nerve-wracking.
Can be overwhelming.
Very overwhelming. And it was very, there was increasing stress, and that's where it really brought out in a way, the best in me and also the worst in me as a parent. And and I think it was also there where I realized that this has to stop. This is actually not a challenge. This is actually a very good opportunity because I actually get to be with my children, who I don't get to spend as much time as I want when I'm working. I don't have that much time to spend with my husband as well. So trying to take things into perspective and changing it into an opportunity, but it doesn't happen like that easily. It doesn't happen that way. What went through was that I started to calm myself down. I started to learn more, read more, and I stumbled across a course asking to be certified as life coaches. And that really resonated with me. I realized that everything that the chaos that I felt I was facing was actually all in my mind. And if I am able to, reframe, if I'm able to change the situation, it's actually an opportunity for me to learn how to be a better mother, how to be a better person, how to be a better wife. So that's where I actually got myself certified as a life coach. And yeah, it was life-changing. So I felt that, I know COVID has been challenging to many different people in different ways. For me, I'm very privileged, and I use that as an opportunity to learn and upgrade myself in that sense. Yeah.
Great. I love the way you say reframe your mind, right? Yeah, I totally agree. In fact, facing the challenges of the pandemic definitely was a challenging thing for many people, and it's commendable how you turn it into an opportunity to spend more time with your children and on your self-development as well, and pursue your dream of becoming a coach. Yeah, so that's very great. So thank you for sharing your personal experience and showing us that setbacks can be catalysts for growth. Now I understand you have a passion for utilizing positive intelligence in parenting as well as life overall. Can you share what made you decide to be a life coach, and share with us what positive intelligence is? I have studied positive intelligence myself as well, and I'm convinced of its power, which is why I'm offering this new program as well on mental fitness.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I really love the framework of positive intelligence. And maybe a continuation of why I decided to be a life coach is because I think at different parts of my life, I've always played the role of sort of being like a coach. Like I was the eldest of 5 siblings. My younger siblings would always come to me to ask for advice. When I was in school, I would have friends that would come to me and tell me about their boyfriend and girlfriend problems. And I was always privileged to have the opportunity to be there for them. And I think because of work and so on, I never really pursued this part or this interest of mine. I always felt that I love connecting with people. That's why I think I also love, the newscaster or the podcasting part of it, because it's all about building connections. So yeah, so when this opportunity came to be a life coach, I really enjoyed it. I worked with several clients and I could see results. I could see positive impact on them, especially using the positive intelligence framework. I think for those who do not know, positive intelligence is like, like emotional intelligence or IQ, intelligence quotient is positive intelligence quotient. It's basically how well are we at being positive when faced with negative situation. Yeah. So this framework, as Siren you shared, is very powerful. Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, so positive intelligence really is a powerful tool to navigate through challenging times with a positive mindset. Yeah. So building on this, right, I understand, like building strong relationships with our children is something that every parent will strive for. How has positive intelligence helped you to build stronger connections, stronger relationship with your children?
Okay, yeah, this is very interesting. So when I first started PQ with positive intelligence, or we call it PQ, in PQ itself, there is this thing called the PQ rep. So for those who are not aware, PQ reps are like 2 to 5 minutes short reps that we do mainly to build our mindfulness. So how I first started is we have an app, and I would open the app and listen to it. For example, rub both fingers together, and I would actually invite my children to choose the reps. So there are many reps that they can choose, and they love it. Like, oh, okay, mommy, let's do PQ rep. And every time when you complete a full set, there will be a screen saying that congratulations or awesome. And the children really enjoyed it. And more than that, it's not only a bonding moment for me and the children, it's also being able to share with them what I'm doing as a life coach, and also most importantly, building the mental fitness part, because research shows that, you know, most of the time we're always in our mind, and it's important to build our right brain part, whereby if we build the right brain part, the muscle of this part of the brain, if it's stronger, we are more able to overcome negative challenges. So in terms of bonding with my children, I do PQ reps with them. That's the short answer. In terms of overall being a parent is a very challenging task. Interesting and challenging at a lot of time, and positive intelligence has these 3 methods on how to cope with situation like this. We call it the self-command muscle, we call it saboteur interceptor, and the sage perspective. So saboteur is when, you know, there's this part of my mind or my judge that says that, okay, this is not good, and so on. But with positive intelligence, I'm able to catch my negative emotions first before it gets overspilled to my children. So there is a framework. Of course, if we want to talk about it, it will take a lot of time, whereby I could see how am I being able to be more calm with my children and see things from their end of point and actually solve it amicably, rather than, you know, shouting or you know, one-way instruction, which they would not listen to anyway at the end of the day. Yeah.
Wow, great. It's amazing how positive intelligence has not only helped you to build stronger relationship with your children, but also provided you with valuable insights about yourself. I love it that you mentioned you recognize your own saboteurs and you control it right before it spread to your children. Yeah. So learning to see things from your children's point of view is also a very valuable skill. Yeah, love that. So moving on, it's always inspiring to hear real life success stories. Can you share some examples or success stories, right, of how positive intelligence can enhance parenting skills and create a positive impact?
Okay, so first thing, a lot of times when we talk about parenting, a lot of parents would think that it's about the children. What I feel that is about about us first, actually. So I always tell my clients is that, you know, first we need to have also self-love. We need to be full before we are able to spill our love to others, before we are able to give love to others. So I think in terms of positive intelligence, it's also about, you know, maintaining that boundary for ourselves, having our self-love. I think one example that I can share is that I have a client who had a child with who has an autistic child, and it's always been very difficult to deal with this child because the child has, you know, socially impaired. Unable to communicate well and unable to empathize with others, and it has caused a lot of stress to this particular client of mine. So he was okay with me being a coach, and he actually tried the PQ reps, the one that I shared just now, just being mindful. And so he has a habit of actually measuring his blood pressure because he has high blood pressure. He was taking medication. But after doing the reps, after the first week and then the second week, he actually came back to me and he said, my blood pressure level has been down to normal level for the past week. And up until now, it is back to normal range just by doing that simple, you know, reps.
Yes, exactly.
So this is one example, one very simple example how it has helped my client.
Thank you. It's really amazing. I'm really very amazed by positive intelligence, right? Can have such a profound impact on individuals' lives, even in challenging circumstances, like your client's experience with high blood pressure, can really showcase the power of positive thinking and how it can lead to positive changes in the health and well-being. Okay. As we delve into the challenges, just now you mentioned, as we delve into challenges of working parents, right? And I'm curious to know, how can positive intelligence help them overcome these hurdles? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so yeah, indeed, I think especially parents, or especially in my case, I can really resonate with working parents because we have to juggle so many things at a time. So PQ's principle is mainly built on mental fitness. So we can liken mental fitness to physical fitness. So for example, today, if I ask you to walk 200 meters, I think most of us can do that. 200 meters is like a couple of minutes, no problem. But today, if I will ask you to climb Mount Everest, maybe you could do it, Siren, but maybe not many people can do that. But the only difference between a person who can climb Mount Everest and a person who can't, well, not only the only difference, one big difference is because the person who can climb Mount Everest has trained his or her physical fitness and has been experienced in that environment. So the same applies to mental fitness. Mental fitness is basically, if we are able to train our mind, our mental muscle more, we are actually able to cope with negative challenges. So if today I'm just angry with one small matter, you know, I can get over it very easily. But let's say I'm being stressed by let's say my boss continuously 24/7 messaging, emails, and so on. Then if for a person who does not have that level of high mental fitness, that person may have issues coping with such challenges. But research shows that can actually be helped by building our mental muscle. So I think you know, it's actually all backed by science, and such strategies are actually very, very important now. Because I was just speaking with a funeral director, and she shared about, you know, there are cases whereby you know, even younger kids, they're taking their lives, and it's really very sad. And I think
I hear many such cases nowadays.
True, right? It's very sad. So I think this is something that we can share. And for me, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning as well. And I'm learning, working with my husband as my partner, and then with my clients, and also a community of awesome coaches like yourself too.
Thank you. I love it when you say you are also practicing with your partner, right? It's really great when you can spread it throughout your whole family, right? When you all speak the same language. That's great. Thank you. Looking ahead to the future, right? What goals and plans do you have in store? I'd like to hear about your exciting things that you envision for yourself and your work.
Thanks for asking. So I think I want to continue to spread Winspiration, the podcast, because there are more and more I realize that there are so many more stories that I can share, and I feel that it's also a gift. At the end of the day, it's also a gift to the next generation. Because we are so blessed with the technology to actually, you know, I could meet you virtually. I could record our voice, our podcast. So that's one thing that I want to continue to do. The second part is that I could really see the effectiveness of PQ for parenting, and how to raise happy children. Because a lot of times if we ask parents, do you want your child to be happy or successful? The default answer, actually, many parents will say happy. Really happy. We really want our child to be happy. But then again, when we see how we you know, raise our children, it's more of wanting them to be successful so that they can be happy. Why not put it the other way around? Let's be happy first so that we can be successful. So that will be my framework, and that will be my plan. I have plans to conduct workshops to parents. I've spoken to some preschools, also speaking to some. So I'm looking for people who would be more interested in this. Maybe I can share the links with Siren later. For those who are interested.
I love what you mentioned, Jeannie. In fact, according to positive psychology, right, you need to be happy first before you can achieve more, right? To be successful, you really need to be happy first. So I really, it's fantastic to hear about your future goals and plans, sharing more about parenting with positive intelligence. I really believe the power of it. And we look forward to the workshop. And the details, we will keep a lookout for that. So, okay. So as we approach the end of our conversation, is there anything else you would like to share? Any final thoughts or comments before we conclude today's session?
So I think it's important to be a human being, not just a human doing. So being in the present and really enjoying the now. Of course, life throws us a lot of challenges. I always tell myself to be also very grateful for all these challenges. it may be very difficult at that point of time, but take it as something that, full of gratitude. And interestingly, there will always be light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly.
So enjoy and be present. That's my final words. And I really appreciate Siren having me on the podcast.
Thank you, Jeannie. I totally agree with you, right? It's like it can't rain forever, right? It can't be raining forever. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. And I go back to the 3 gifts techniques that I mentioned, right? Every situation, no matter how bad it is, right, you can turn it into a gift. Like gift of knowledge, gift of power, gift of inspiration. So thank you, Jeannie, for joining us today and sharing your inspiring journey. It has been a pleasure learning about your experiences and the valuable insights. So I look forward to future endeavors with you. Best wishes as you continue your podcast. And for the rest, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.